I go through that next level by using Guntings, because what we're doing is we're defending or redirecting the attack and at the same time causing pain. Hey guys, my name is Sean Elders and this is Pinnacle Combat Arts. Like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the bell so you can be notified every time we get a new video. Today we're going to be talking about double stick and Guntings inside Contra Sumbrada. Let's get started. For instance, if you're doing double stick sparring, and how do I get to that next level where I'm actually able to, maybe they are able to defend everything I attack at them, they're able to defend and count and come back with an attack. How do I go to that next level? I go through that next level by using Guntings, because what we're doing is we're defending or redirecting the attack and at the same time causing pain. And that's what the Gunting does. Gunting means to scissor, okay? And so when we scissor and we counterattack at the same time, scissoring one of those sticks or swords is going to be redirecting the attack, and the other one is attacking the hand that holds the weapon. That causes pain, which creates a delay. That delay creates an opening for your attack so that you get to that next level of unleashing attacks until your opponent is no longer a threat. Why is double stick so important? Because it teaches you the coordination of both hands. What happens if you are in an altercation where one hand gets destroyed and you need to use the other hand? You need to be able to make that other hand proficient enough to be able to function in live motion. A lot of people go, well, how's an impact weapon or a machete? That stuff doesn't happen in combat or in the street. Sure it does. All you have to do is open your eyes and take a look at all the places all over the world that use machetes to attack each other. It's happening all the time, including in the United States. You just have to be more aware of what's happening all the time. People are using impact weapons. People are using those things because they may not have the skill to be able to strike be empty hand, but they may feel like they may have an advantage over you if they have a weapon. And so if you can find an equalizer, okay, or something that is of equal or close to the same length, you are able to engage. Otherwise, run. But this is a way to develop a higher level of function in combat. So let's get started. There's two aspects to this. One is, do you know your Contra Sumbrada with double stick? Okay. Double stick is, when you do Contra Sumbrada, we call it midro mano range. That's the range that usually is used. But when you use double stick, you are in a micro range between largo mano and midro mano. Why? Because now you have something, instead of using your hand to check, you're using another weapon. So for instance, if she does a number one and I put up my roof deflection and I check, now I can be a little bit farther away. You see that? That little micro move back. I don't need to do that. So I'm in this position now. So we have the roof deflection. We have the inside deflection. Okay. Then when I do the drop stick, after you get this down, you can then practice doing a thrust here. Okay. Then I come in after the thrust and she does a roof. We switch our feet and we go to the other side. So there's other videos that I've done where we do this, we practice this. Here, I roof, yep, shield, and we go into that, okay? And so notice when I go here, if she does that thrust, I can always bring my stick in here and check that if I wanted to do a little bit more advanced. When I come to this side, when she checks, she goes at number two, I can touch the forearm too. I don't have to do the hand or I don't have to do the stick. I could just touch the forearm, which that could be a thrust to the face as well. But I don't recommend when you're going real fast to do that because we want to keep everybody safe unless you want to wear a fencing mask, okay? So we're going. Okay. And so this is one aspect. So that's what we call the 5-count Contra Sumbrada. And then some of you may go, well, they're not really going at it. No, we're not going at it. You could go really hard and put a lot of pressure into what you're doing. and really come in and crash down, okay? That is a training mechanism. This is context. Again, we need to understand that there are different types of training methods based on what we're doing at that moment in time. Sometimes I'm going to come in real hard, and that's the way it's going to be in real combat. But in this case, what we're doing is we're developing this at the beginner level, the base level. The base level says, I need to know the mechanics, the basic lines, the footwork, all that stuff first, okay? If you start off hard, how are you going to develop those higher levels of keen when you go to the next, when you go through these step by step, okay? So when we start off light because we don't need to have that extra stress when we're trying to develop a higher level. Then we have what they call Guntings. The Gunting is where we're going to pass. So one of the first ones you can do is practicing the number 7. So when she does the 7 at me, I'm going to parry it off to the side, and then this arm goes across to make contact to the bicep, or it could be to the hand or wrist, okay? But you're just going to pass it through, just like that. So all she's going to do is just going to do that over and over again. We'll start off, we call this abecedario, where one person just feeds over and over and over again, okay? And then I would do the same thing to her. She would just pass, pass, pass. Make sure that the stick does not go close to the face, okay, when you're doing it, okay? Make sure that if I go higher, because right now I'm kind of, she has to bring her hands up a little higher. So do it again. No, yeah. So see how this, so let me show you something. So she does the thrust at me. At this case, she was doing it at my groin at first, which would be a good spot to thrust. But if she does it to my, let's say the belly button, okay? I have to bring my wrist up higher to make sure that I catch that, okay? If it's above the elbow, she does it above the elbow, then I have to go underneath. You see that? That's how I'm going to do it. If it's up to the face, I'm going to go underneath and pass it, have my parrying weapon up. So the elbow is your reference to know if you should point your weapon down or up. That's a very important. So we Gunting here, okay? And so then you could go back and forth. She does it, I do it, back and forth. Okay? And then you can move on to the next one. So we're gonna do 7 today, and we're gonna do a high thrust 8. This is in my numbering system. It's an 8. So see how I'm doing that? I'm gonna parry it like this, and then this would cut to the bicep or the hand, just like that. And I would just go back and forth. I could practice doing a little with tick behind it, a counter attack. Okay, all right. And so for safety measures, when you're practicing this at the beginning and with a student that has not done this before or hasn't done a lot of repetitions, instead of pointing it straight at the eye like that, I would recommend just pointing it just slightly off to the side, where if they miss, it just goes past the face like this for safety reasons. Okay, just like that. So I always, when I feed it, I always do it past the face. I don't do it right at the eyes, because I've seen and it's not a good sight to see when there's a mishap. Okay, so then you would go back and forth and do the same thing. Then we have the last one I'm going to have you guys do is the number 3. So I'm going to pick this up, you see that, and come in here like that. So notice what I do with my hips. I bring my hips back and then I do it, because what I want to do is I want to take the center of my body out of the equation. I want to press this down and direct it away from me as I Gunting, just like that. And so she does the same thing. Yep. So see how her hips go back? She has to do that, because if she stays standing, and I see this all the time when I go to seminars and different things like that, they just stand there like that. They have no concept of what they need to do. The body mechanics are just not there. And one of the other things I also want you to do is, let's say you put your feet on the other side. Yep. And then you lateral step back. Yep. There you go. So see that? So now that takes away the range, and it takes that, because a lot of times what's going to happen is that person's not only going to swing the stick at you or sword at you, but they're also going to step forward when they do that. And that gives you the distance, and you can monitor that based on their distance to you. Okay. So those are your 3 basics that we're going to do today. So now we're going to incorporate that into the Sumbrada. So we have Contra Sumbrada. Okay, and now we're going to incorporate the first one, and the basic first one that you want to do is off the roof. So when I come here, I can do a 3, for instance. She does a 2, and then we go back in. So again, when I get here, after I do a roof, I will do the attack. After I do the attack, she will feed a 2 right away. I do an outside deflection, and then we go back into the drill. So roof. So she does the same thing. When she gets to that roof, she'll do the same thing. Okay, so right there, and she does the 3, and then look what I did. I dropped my hips back, and I went back in. Okay, I do it just like that. She's gonna do it. I will do it. And so at the beginning, you guys can say, okay, I'm gonna do it. And you guys just communicate that as you're doing the exercise so that you can do it. Now, she's gonna throw 7. She does a 7, and I parry it, and I go back in. I can do it now, no, not right there. Okay. Yeah. So after the roof, when I do the roof, I will go roof, and then I will thrust, and she will guillotine it. And then now she's gonna do it when she gets to the roof. Yep, you're jumping the gun because you're thinking, don't think.
Sorry.
Yep, that's okay. Yep. Okay. And so the last one we're going to do is the number 8, or the high thrust. And there's the roof. She guillotines, backhands, and goes back into the exercise. Now after she does the roof, she's going to do it. Okay. And so I can also sidestep out of the way if I'm unsure. So that's another thing that you can add into these exercises. But that's the first step to how to guillotine inside the Contra Sumbrada with double stick. Okay, we'll do footwork in our next part. Hope this helps. I'm just gonna do a little, because I think I'm gonna turn this into 2 videos.